Hey YouTube, what's going on? Lionheart here, and on today's video, I want to talk about my first impressions of Yoimiya and whether you should pull for her with your Primo Gems. I'll also discuss a build you may not know about, as well as walk through her rotation at C0, and some other tips that may help you if you decide to pull for her. Keep in mind, Yoimiya is C0R1 in this video. If you find the content helpful, please remember to subscribe and enable alerts for future videos. Okay, should you pull for Yoimiya? The short answer is probably not. While I'm having a lot of fun playing her, I can't in good faith recommend Yoimiya for most players, though that doesn't necessarily mean you should skip her. If you like Yoimiya and the bow auto attack playstyle, which is similar to how you would play Physical Official and something I personally enjoy a lot, then go ahead and pull for her. She is definitely viable and capable of clearing all content in the game that is suitable for a Pyro character. Everyone else should pass on Yoimiya and wait for future releases or her rerun after miHoYo has an opportunity to address her weaknesses. We'll talk about those in this video. Yoimiya is actually very comparable to Childe. She has limited uptime at C0 and a lot more uptime at C6 if you use her kit well. And while she doesn't deal area damage with her elemental skill, her single target damage is significantly higher than his. However, Yoimiya has two major flaws when comparing her to Childe. First, her elemental burst is worse for several reasons I'll explain. And second, Hydro is a way more flexible element than Pyro is for elemental reactions. On the first point, her elemental burst simply doesn't last long enough, and the single target application has a lot of problems since Genshin Impact does not have good precision controls. What do I mean by that? Well, the design of Yoimiya's burst is basically Malzahar's Malefic Visions from League of Legends, only it's worse because its duration doesn't refresh when the enemy takes skill damage, and it has a cinematic moment on activation that makes selecting the correct single target in a crowded combat situation very difficult. Its Aurous Blaze duration, which is the mark that's applied by the burst, is also very short, and it prevents you from passing it between enemies more than one or two times, which seems to be an important part of the ability. I can see Yoimiya's burst being more fun in co-op, but let's face it, Genshin severely lacks in the co-op department, so the burst needs to stand on its own in single-player combat. Personally, I think Yoimiya's burst is the primary factor holding her back, and it could be easily fixed with two changes. First, extend the Aurous Blaze duration to 18 seconds, which would match the duration of Childe's Riptide, and also almost double its current duration. And second, allow her to apply the mark to more than one enemy in an area rather than to a single target. This would also be similar to Childe's Elemental Burst in bow stance. These are not big overhaul changes, so the development effort should be relatively small, and it could be done at a low cost to miHoYo. It also doesn't totally ruin Yoimiya's kit or require other major adjustments that could create balance problems for her. However, what it does do is it makes the Elemental Burst useful, and it makes it fun. If miHoYo improves the Elemental Burst, then we would have a very nice Pyro applicator at 5-star, and I'd feel comfortable recommending Yoimiya to all players. Listen, her normal attacks and elemental skill are very good. Yes, at C0, though her constellations will definitely improve her total damage output. She should be rotated with another damage dealer, ideally an Electro character, to trigger Overloaded and give her the extra area damage she is currently lacking. Right now, Beidou and Fischl are both great options, but Ball is likely to be another excellent choice in the future. At C0, you will have about 8 seconds of downtime on Yoimiya's elemental skill, which means you're probably going to play her as follows. Activate a support ability on another character, swap to Yoimiya, activate her elemental skill, go through 2 to 3 normal attack rotations, depending on if you need to evade enemy attacks, use your elemental burst, and then rotate Yoimiya out for 8 seconds and use your other damage dealer. I think you can repeat this rotation over and over again, and it works pretty well at C0. The rotation for C6 players will be different, but don't worry about that too much, and it's just a positioning of where the elemental burst goes, and you open up a few doors on what characters you can bring. By the way, speaking of things I tested, I was very surprised that running 4-piece Thundering Fury was actually pretty good on Yoimiya for increasing her total elemental skill uptime. I know, it sounds troll, and it probably is, but if you have Thundering Fury already, it costs you absolutely nothing to try it out on Yoimiya, assuming you're going to pull for her anyway. When I paired Yoimiya with Beidou and Fischl, I was able to have 100% uptime on her elemental skill, thanks to all the overloaded procs. And it was very important that I brought both Fischl and Beidou. I had trouble getting the Thundering Fury set to proc with only one of them, but with both of them, there was enough electro application that I was able to get it and maintain 100% uptime. So I think that's actually pretty cool. And look, the only problem with that team comp was energy for Beidou. She, even with the new energy recharge set, had some problems getting to full energy to activate her burst. But if you replace her with Ball or another electro release that comes later on, I think the comp might be very good. Of course, this is all speculation, and I would not pull out a character banner hoping that the character will be better in future content. Nevertheless, gaining access to 100% elemental skill uptime by equipping Thundering Fury was pretty cool, since that benefit is normally locked behind her 4th constellation, which is very expensive to obtain for most players. Try it, see what you think, even if only for the memes. You know, for what it's worth, I had no problems 9-star clearing Abyss floors using Yoimiya at C0R1, and she seems to fit well into numerous team comps. I could run her with a Vaporized comp, I could run her in Overloaded, I could run her in Melt. It all worked. So I don't think she's as bad as everyone is worried she might be, but I also don't feel she's filling a need or other vacancy that was missing from my existing collection that I have today of all the characters that have released, right? So, you know, still, I'm pretty excited to experiment more with Yoimiya over the coming days and see what her potential looks like, but I suspect we'll need to wait for 2.1 or 2.2 to really see her shine, both for the future character releases that are likely to come, and also any adjustments MiHoYo might make to her, or to electro reactions, or to internal cooldowns, or any of those things that they could adjust to help make her feel better. Anyway, if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. You can also join me live for testing Yoimiya on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Lionheart. Hope to see you there. If this video was helpful, be sure to like and leave a comment below. I'll be releasing an updated video on Yoimiya if I discover anything new, plus another video with my thoughts on Sayu in the near future. So be sure to subscribe and enable alerts for that content. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you on the next Genshin Impact video.